Dawn-Nicole, can I say something real quick before we get started? I just wanted to let you know, and I wanted to congratulate you for just being transparent with us, just sharing your story with us as far as your health and everything that you've gone through, because you are really rocking it out, girlfriend. I have been watching you and I am admiring everything that you do. I just wish I had a mentor in my life
Yeah.
as yourself so
Yeah.
that I can get to where I need to be, because it's so many things that are happening behind the scenes that
Yes.
people don't really know about.
Yeah.
And days I just be wanting to
I
just
know.
yell to the top of my lungs, and I question that is this is my purpose, is this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So every time I do an event, I rock it out because I work so much better under pressure, and people come to me and they say thank you, thank you, thank you for your gifts, for what you've done. We absolutely love you. So I know that I am walking in my purpose, but I just admire you so much. So I just wanted to let you
Oh,
know that.
you know what? I really, really appreciate it because, like all of us, I have my days too, especially since I've had MS. I have days where I'm like, I can't go on. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then something good happens, and I'm like, I have to go on. I just need
Right,
to do it differently. I just need more sleep. And so, even
right.
I am always trying to figure out the new normal. I have days where I just don't want to show up.
Welcome to Talks on Demand, hosted by Dr. Dawn-Nicole McIlwain.
Hey, hey, it is Dr. Dawn-Nicole here, and today I am not here alone. I have special guests. I'm going to introduce them in a second, but if this is your first time at Talks on Demand, today we have a special episode. We have our hospitality, food, and beverage co-chairs, COPs. We have Chef Juszina in the house and Kareema Riddick, and we're going to learn more about them today. So, Chef, I'm going to pass the mic over to you to just introduce yourself, name of your company, where you represent in today, and then we're going to pass the mic to Kareema.
Hey, Dr. Don Nicole. I am celebrity chef Juszina Maria. I am out of Indianapolis, Indiana, and the name of my company is my name, Chef Juszina Maria's Catering Studio, which we specialize in all things New Orleans.
Ooh, I can't. Y'all know we're gonna talk all about it. The spicy, the creepy, all. Look, I want to talk about all the things, Chef Juszina. So I hope we can go there today. So welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. And then we're just gonna pass the mic over to Kareema Riddick as well. Hey, Kareema, how you doing today?
Hi, Dr. Donna Cole. So I am Kareema Riddick, and I'm the owner of Yes Darling Tea.
Yes,
We are the largest tea company in Charlotte, North Carolina. We have over 30 blends now. So we are
darling.
technically the largest tea company in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we also host tea party events throughout the Charlotte area. And our business is all about slowing down, self-care, taking care of yourself, and putting
Mm.
yourself first. I
Oh my
am
gosh.
Sorry, I'm originally from Connecticut, but now I reside and I'm a Charlottene now. I'm
That's
officially a Charlottene now.
that's right. And representing the up north, the New England, because I'm
New
from
England in the
Springfield. Yes,
building.
up in the building. Look, because we're never in the building because there's never
Yeah,
no black people from. Aren't you tired of hearing that, Kareema, that there's no black people up
I'm
there?
so tired of hearing
We're
that.
going to talk about it today. We're going to talk because
Let's talk
clearly,
about it.
clearly. All right. So listen, y'all can tell that this episode is getting ready to be just ridiculous, right? In a good way, in all the ways. So what we're doing is we're making sure that we take time to interview our leaders who keep our communities of practice going. And for those who don't know what a COP, a community of practice, is here at ProcuraFind, ladies, I guess we could best describe it as people with the same interests in the same industry who all come together for a common cause. Y'all meet up once a month, you talk about things, you learn together. Every now and then there's special guests. Did I sum it up right, celebrity chef and Kareema? Is that about right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Definitely.
good, good, good. So we're gonna get into this. First and foremost, Kareema, I'll start with you. What made you even say yes to being a co-chair for this community of practice? What was it that excited you about leading people? And just let's talk about it. Let's start there.
Number one, being an entrepreneur and a business owner can get very lonely. Number one, right?
Yes.
It gets lonely, and then coming from the corporate world where you have a team, you have coworkers, and moving over into entrepreneurship, you realize, hey, I'm in this thing alone, right? I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure everything out alone. So community is what brought me to the table. Just having a community, having someone I could bounce ideas off of, and also the resources.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you. And celebrity chef Juszina, same question for you. When the opportunity came your way, and I'm proud to say y'all are still the original team, still rocking it out, holding it down for us. But what made you say yes yourself to yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to piggyback off what Kareema had stated, just said earlier. It is lonely at the top. When you're an entrepreneur and you go from the corporate world to being an entrepreneur, and as much as you elevate
Mhm.
in your field,
Mhm.
it gets lonely. People start falling off. You question yourself about different things. And so for me, I knew that I needed that support of other women,
Yeah.
along with the men that has just joined ProcuraFind. I know that I needed that support,
Yeah.
and I noted that I wanted to be in a room with other women that not only look like me, but other
Mhm.
women that were in my field, because
Yeah.
I don't know everything. And
Right.
so just to get feedback and to share what I know and them
Yeah.
share what they know with me, so that we all can win and we all can elevate. So when you came to me and said, "Hey, chef, we want you to do this," I was all in.
Yeah.
It was a no-brainer for
You
me.
were. You really, really were. And let's talk about that for a sec. There's so much to unpack there because it absolutely is lonely. It is lonely at the top. And I found the more successful you become, the more things that start to line up. See, it's easy to find takers and friends, air quotes, when you
Mhm.
got time, right? And there's time and things aren't moving, and people are like, I know, me too, right? There's a me too party, is what we call it. But when things start lining up for you, and when things start elevating for you, all of a sudden people think you've changed. And what I'm here to tell you is you're supposed to change and evolve. We're not designed to stay the same. And so the question is, how lonely has it become? Are you all finding that loneliness equals I need new friend circles every so often? Or does loneliness look like I need time to come in for a second and retreat and then go back out? How do you all deal with the loneliness that we all know exists with entrepreneurship? So, Kareema, I'll start with you and then I'll go back to Chef Juszina.
So for me, the loneliness is not 100% negative.
Ooh, that
It's not.
say that again. Wait a minute, Kareem. Go ahead and change that perspective. Say it again, Kareema.
Loneliness is not 100% negative,
Yeah,
because I've learned, especially this year,
yeah.
I forced myself to go into a silo because
Mm,
I needed to listen. I needed to know what was working, what was not working. Um, I did less and less networking events unless it was
yeah.
something that I needed to be there. Now, if it was a Queen City Women in Business event, I was
Oh, come
there.
on. Come on.
I had to be there. But
Yeah.
in the beginning, I was going to any and every networking event. I was everywhere. You go look at my social media, I was everywhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to slow it down. I
Yeah.
had to analyze what was working, what was not working, and
Mm,
quiet the noise to see exactly where was I going, what were my goals. So when I say lonely, it's
yeah.
not 100% negative. There's
I love it.
positive into the loneliness because it forces you to be quiet and just listen,
Mm,
focus on what's working and what's not working. And
that's
then I do have a community of entrepreneur friends that I meet up with. We might do once a quarter, meet up for lunch, bounce ideas off each other, quick phone call, quick text. So I do have a healthy support system. I
yeah.
don't need to go searching for 10 more friends. I have a healthy circle.
Okay. That's, oh my gosh. We could go so many. Okay. Okay. Listen, let me curb my enthusiasm. Let me come over to Celebrity Chef Juszina and ask you the same thing. Because I think, Kareema, you just dropped the perspective that no one unpacks. Like loneliness is not always a bad thing. Let's normalize the fact that there's some balance factors there. It could be good sometime. But Chef Juszina, talk about it from your perspective. Do you find it's lonely? If so, what do you do to sort of rebalance? And is loneliness sometimes a good thing for you? Do you find you need resets and pushing that pause button? Let's talk about it.
Are you a small business looking for corporate clients? Maybe you want government clients. Regardless of if you want corporate, local, state, or federal government, that's exactly what we do at ProcuraFind.com. My name is Dr. Dawn-Nicole McIlwain, and I'm the proud founder of ProcuraFind, where we help small to mid-sized companies get developed and connected to our network of corporate clients faster. We've already helped small businesses secure $4.75 million in contracts and counting. Do you have next? Go to ProcuraFind.com to get in our network and in the know.
Well, for me, I would say that in the beginning, I didn't know what was transpiring because I had friends for like 30 plus years and they started to fall off as I elevated. And so I was questioning myself and questioning God. And I was like, God, is this, my purpose? Is this what you want me to do? And if it is, why are all these people that I call my friends, why are they falling off? And so me being an introvert, believe it or not, I can go days without talking to anyone because I enjoy my quiet time. And sometimes when you're quiet and you don't have that outside noise and that outside interference, you're able to listen to what God has for you. Because when I asked him those questions, he allowed me to listen to what it is he has for me. And I turned the negative that I thought was negative, I turned that into a positive because I was able, like Kareema said, I was able to go and re-strategize. I was able to just be the best that I can possibly be, because when you ask God for things, you have to be prepared for them mentally, physically, emotionally. And no matter what happens in your life, just know that everything works together for good. And so that's the way, I had to deal with it. And then now, since I am constantly elevating, those people that fell off, they are still trying to come back. And I do have a friend circle now that loves everything that I'm doing. And we are all on the same page. So it's no jealousy. It's no, questioning if they are here for my success or if they are here just to see what they can get from me and then run away. You know what I'm saying? So as for me, I needed that quiet time so I could re-strategize and listen to what God had in store for me.
So good. That's so good. So let's talk about, listen, this topic alone, y'all, we could just, so I'm going to touch on this a little bit. So I'm transparent about the fact that I was diagnosed with MS this year. If for those who may or may not know, multiple sclerosis, and it was devastating for me. It was absolutely devastating. I went through all the emotions, right? I was upset, I cried, I yelled, I questioned God. I wondered, how strong do you think I am? Like I did all these things. I had, I raised 4 kids. I did it the hard way, but I came out of it. I keep proving myself. And now this, right? So I really went through that emotional turmoil where I just didn't understand. And as a result, I noticed for me this year, it changed my personality. And when I say it changed my personality, I became this year more of an introvert, right? And I started to really be aware that I was changing. Like I wasn't taking phone calls so readily. I was tired and I was taking time for myself. When I was tired, I would sleep. And if that meant go to bed early and be laughed at by my husband, who's like, it's just 9 o'clock, right? Right? So my personality started to change and I began to put a new tag on myself like we do. Because when you change, I said, oh, I'm just becoming more of an introvert now. And then I asked myself this year, I said, well, Dawn-Nicole, were you always an introvert, but it was popular to call yourself an extrovert? Were you putting on? So this year made me really ask myself an important question. Is who you presented to be in the other cycle of your life, was that really you? Or were you wanting to be more popular than be free? Was popularity more important to you before than your freedom? And did the MS make you pay close attention to who you really are? Who you really are is a person who needs pace and you need to retreat and you actually enjoy quiet time. You told yourself a book of lies before, like meaning maybe who I thought I was, do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Wasn't actually who I was. Maybe it was who people wanted me to be. And I just showed up and performed like the performer I am in theater.
Right.
And maybe this, who I believe I was becoming, is probably who I've been. And I'm just embracing it this year and accepting and saying, you know what? I do like the quiet. I do like a quiet cup of coffee before. I don't want to just rush to my phone because someone wants to interrupt my time. I do want to protect my peace. So this year, I think I'm owning who I've always been. And it took MS to help me see myself. And that's the blessing. And isn't that deep? Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I
some
thought
good stuff.
yeah,
That's
I
some
thought
good
it was a
stuff.
burden, but it was a blessing in disguise because without something to slow me down, I couldn't really see me.
Right.
Wow.
And not only
Wow.
that, Dawn-Nicole, we are allowed to change who we are.
Mm, yeah,
We are
yep,
Wow.
allowed to change who we are. We don't have to be the same person that we were last year.
yep,
Mhm.
yep. So true. So true. And it's funny. I always call it rewriting the script that we give ourselves. We give
Wow.
ourselves a script, right? And we say things to ourselves like, I'm a morning person. I
Right.
don't eat almonds. I don't, right? And you have this script of who you are, right? And then I found myself at 47, and I know we all look good because, honey, if they knew y'all, we all look like we in our 30s. Let me just claim it right now.
Thank
But no,
you.
yeah. But at 47, right. But at 47, I've realized the honest truth is I was like, I might need to stop telling people that I'm a morning person, right? Because I've
Mhm.
said it. So like, I'm chipper. I'm a morning person. I had this script of who I am, I can just read it off, right? And this year I found out when I tried to wake up at 5 a.m. and work out, that didn't work for me.
Right.
Because
Right.
I'd rather it, because the competing thing is at 5 a.m. I have all my best ideas and thoughts, and I'd rather be in my creative space than my workout space. And so the reality is, like you said, Kareema, we need to rewrite our script. It's okay to evolve. It's okay to become
Yes.
the next.
Give yourself grace. Like January and
Wow.
February and March, winter months, you cannot be a morning person, right? And
Mhm.
Yeah,
then when the spring and summer comes, okay, now I'm a morning person.
I love it. I love that. I love
I
that.
love
Being
it.
flexible, right? With
Being
yourself.
flexible.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So, ladies, okay, so I want to talk about we got a little glimpse of where everybody is from. So now I want to know how where you're from shaped your perspective of entrepreneurship. So I'll start with you, celebrity chef Juszina. You are from New Orleans, which we know as the Big Easy and all the things. Oh, are you from there? No.
No, no. And
Oh,
actually I failed to tell you where I'm from. I was born and raised in Gary, Indiana, and I
oh,
did some job shadowing in New Orleans
okay. That's
for a little over about a year and a half. Did some job shadowing over there, and I decided to come back here and bring the Big Easy to Indianapolis.
Come on. I'm sorry. Listen,
Yeah.
y'all forgive me. I usually do my research. I feel like I should have known this, but I got caught up in the moment. It's all the beauty on the screen. It just got me caught up.
Oh.
Oh, so tell me, okay, so I want to know how did you find New Orleans vastly different from Gary, Indiana? And then my second question is, how did being born in Gary and being from Gary influence or shape your perspective on entrepreneurship? What did you see growing up? Was entrepreneurship a good thing? Was it a bad word? Like in some households, it's like, no, everybody needs a job. What was it like, and how did Gary shape that for you?
Well, first of all, the first question, to answer your first question, New Orleans, because I've been down there so many times and I did some job shadowing and everything down there. I love the fact that all the people there, the hospitality, oh my goodness, is
Yeah.
how I was raised up. Just the love, and no matter what they've gone through with Hurricane Katrina and prior to all the storms that they did have, those people are still loving, they are still giving whatever they have. Half of them don't have much, but they still walk down the streets of Bourbon Street. They're still playing their instruments, smiling, trying to give. And it's just that hospitality that I can relate to coming from Gary, Indiana, and
Yeah.
how I was raised and how I grew up. And so when I went down there and I tasted the food, I was like, oh my God, they have so much love and so much soul and all the things that they went through. They put this into these recipes where New Orleans is like one of the top vacation spots in the world. You
Yeah.
know, everyone goes there and they can taste the food and the culture and everything that it means as far as recipes that was passed down from generations and generations. And when I went down there, I said to myself, I have got to open up a New Orleans style spot. I have got to bring the Big Easy to Indianapolis because for me, how I was raised in Gary, Indiana, my family is from the South. My mom just passed away in March, God rest her soul.
Yeah.
And she had instilled in me, along with my grandparents, we had a real big family growing up. We had a family of 11. My mother's grandmother and grandfather lived with us. And so we would always get up and wake up in the morning to fresh made biscuits and homemade pies and just breakfast and the music playing and all of those things. I can go back to saying the same thing with New Orleans. You hear the music, you hear all these aromas in the air, and those are the things that I'm used to, even though I wasn't from New Orleans. But every time I cook, I look at how can I deliver and serve my purpose when I'm cooking. And so I put all my soul in what I do. And so my mom did the same thing when we were growing up. She taught me how to cook. She taught me how to be the person that I am today. I wasn't around a lot of entrepreneurs, but my dad and his brothers, they got together and they opened up an auto supply store. And so they were in business for themselves. But I, and then my grandmother had a restaurant when we were growing up. And so, those just seeing what they did and all the things that they were able to conquer as I got older, I said, hey, I wanted to be like that. I want to be in charge, not necessarily the boss, because anybody can be a boss. I wanted to run my own show and be able to teach people and have people to follow me and also be able to give back and leave when I leave this earth. I want to make an impact on people. I want people to say, hey, this person did XYZ, or I learned from this person. And where I'm at today, if I can inspire just one person, my job here is done. Done.
I love
Yes.
it. Oh my gosh, what a phenomenal answer. So we're going to come
Thank
back.
you.
So just know I've got a question for you brewing, but I also want to
Okay.
come to Kareema right now. And so not
Okay.
to forget my question, just so you know, I'm going to be asking you how bringing something different as a business owner, right? There's tons of restaurants that open up every single day, but there's not tons of New Orleans inspired restaurants. And I want to talk about how that difference made impact, but I'm gonna come to you in a second. Kareema,
Okay.
question for you. I want to know, how did you figure out that you had a business in tea? Like, I know, like, meaning we all start what we love because we love it first, right? Most of us, we have a passion, we already do it, but how did you know when to go from hobby to business? What were some indicators for you?
I knew when I just was breathing, like waking up thinking about it, falling asleep thinking about it, sharing my products with family and friends, and they were raving about it. That's when I knew, because it started building a passion inside of me. So once I got that passion inside of me, it was over. I was like, oh, this is my business. And then I had to figure out a name. And then when I came up with the name, that was the icing on the top. I
How
was
did
like,
you
oh.
come up with the name? And by the way, so it's Yes Darling T. How did you, that is so cute, so clever. How did you come up with that?
So I had a hard time finding a name for my business because I didn't want to be just, the blah 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 tea company, and I was like, I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to be cute. I wanted to match my personality. So it took me a long time to find a name. So I started thinking about, I was like, okay, what is something that I say, something silly, something funny, and then it just hit me. I used to say yes darling all the time.
Yes,
I used to say it at work. So when me and the girls used to say it back and forth to each other,
I
just
love it.
uplifting each other up. Yes, darling, I love your hair today. Yes,
Yes.
darling, Dawn-Nicole, the hair is
Yes.
just given.
Thank
And then
you.
it was our saying, yes, darling. And it just, as soon as it hit me, I think I woke up one morning and it just hit me. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, that's it. Yes, darling T. That's it.
Can I just talk about the power of the name for a second? I want to have this conversation because recently my husband and I was watching, and we do this. We binge watch like business documentaries, like, you know, the making of Netflix, the making of
Yes.
Uber. Like we're just addicted to we're both entrepreneurs. And recently, and if y'all haven't seen this, this is a plug. Go and see this story. It's on like either Hulu or Netflix of BlackBerry. But
Blackberry.
y'all remember BlackBerry, and it
Yes.
talks about the
Phones.
rise. Yeah, yeah. It talks about the rise and fall of BlackBerry, you all. And it's such an intriguing movie to watch. We were like hooked. And one of the key plots was the name. I remember that they didn't have a good name. They had a good concept. And the founder, like all he did was like live, breathe, and eat every single day. He was like writing down names. No, that's not it. That's not it. And then just one day out the blue, because people kept saying you need a better name. Like venture capitalists, you know, we're saying you need a better name. That's not the name. That and he went through like 22 names, and then one day he just like the light bulb came on. He's like BlackBerry, BlackBerry, and BlackBerry just took off, right? So that's why I love asking people, how did you come up with the name? I'm very intrigued by this, the backstory. So Chef Juszina, this brings me to you, and I know I had a different question, but now I want to talk to you about your name of your company. I remember when I was starting out in 2015, I immediately started my first business, and it was Dawn-Nicole 360. I have no problem using my name. Y'all know I'm a Taurus. I'm bold. I love myself, like all the things. Like I don't care what nobody, right? But so I was a young, early entrepreneur, and I was like, yes, Dawn-Nicole 360. And I remember someone gave me her viewpoint. Her viewpoint. Now this was unsolicited advice, by the way, because I didn't know to ask for it. And she said, "You don't have any problems in business using your name?" I said, "Whatever do you mean? What do you mean problem?" Like how, what problem? I love my name, you know. And she was like, no, 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 not that. She said, she said that when you use your name, you oftentimes can't sell your company because blase squaze, right? And again, you have to be careful with this unsolicited advice, don't you? Because just because you found that, and this is your fear, and this was your doubt, right? Sometimes we perpetuate our own insecurities and fears on others. So you got to be careful not to accept that. But I remember I wasn't even worried about it until she brought it to me. And I thought, oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought about that. But then I thought about there's Donna Karen clothing, right?
Right.
There's
Right.
Jersey Mike's, who's in California doing very well. They're an NFL sponsor now. So, meaning you kind of got to take things with a grain of salt. And before you can give me advice, I have to buy your lifestyle, right? Before I buy your advice, am I buying how you're living? And do you know my goals, right? Because sometimes people give you advice without knowing where you're trying to be. So, Chef Juszina, let's talk about naming your company and how you arrived at naming it Chef Juszina Maria's, which I think is a great name, by the way. But I'm just curious how you landed on like, I'm gonna name it this.
Well, I just like yourself, I came up with several different names before we were Classy Diva Caterers and Gourmet Meal Prep. I was in this cohort program last year, which I won the grand prize. And the mentor, thank you, the
Yeah.
mentor said to me, have you ever thought about using your name? And I have two grown sons. One of them live in Colorado, and he's always said, Mom, you need to brand yourself. You need to use your name. Nobody has your name. And so I wasn't going to do it at first. And then my son called me. He works midnights. And he was like, Mom, have you ever just literally just Googled yourself? And I said, no, why would I do that? He said, Mom, I was on my break. I said, let me put my mom's name in Google. He said, he put it in there. He said, Mom, all this stuff came up
Wow.
about you, and you are like big stuff. He said, Mom, you are the bomb. And then he said, you never talk about yourself. You never say anything. I said, well, Roosevelt, the reason that I never talk about myself is because I don't want people to think that I'm bragging. He said, well, Mom, you're around the wrong people. You need to change your circle.
Come
That's what
on.
my son said. Yeah, I have two grown sons. One of them is my dad. The other one thinks he's my man. So my dad lives in Colorado. My man lives here. And so both of them, they're like, Mom, your name is your brand, so you need to just do it. And so I just thought that, it was going to be, wow, she's so conceited and arrogant.
Yeah. Yeah.
making it her name.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Let me take their advice. And so I went ahead, and when I won the cohort program, I changed my name to the New Orleans company. And actually, I am in the middle of doing a bourbon infused menu. And for my restaurant, it's going to be a bourbon infused restaurant, which I'm working on. Everything is going to fall up under Juszina Maria's, that umbrella.
Yeah.
But I just thought, it was really elegant,
Yes, it is.
and I was bringing a little bit of the South at the same
Yeah.
time with my name, with having the New Orleans style catering studio. So that's
Well,
how it came about.
Well, first of all, don't you, I love everything about it. And this is why, like I said, ladies, we have to be careful of people who just want to give us advice that we don't ask
Right.
for. Okay. Because when you
Right.
think about it, you got Marie Callender's, right?
Hmm.
You have what's his name?
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart. You got the shoe
Hmm.
guy who I can't think of his
Hmm.
name, Bowden, or the guy who sells women's shoes.
Yeah.
You have all kind of things. So you don't have to
Hmm.
change a thing. Sometimes people in their own fears and insecurities will push that on us. So we got to be careful about that. So,
Right. Right.
so pricing, I want to get into something that a lot of businesses struggle with. And I'm just curious on your take. I know for me, and I love opening up with what I experienced. I remember because I was selling soft services, in your case, Kareema, you actually sell a tangible product at the end, right? I give you money, you give me tea, right? Something I can touch and use. Chef Juszina, you have something tangible, right? I pay you money, you give me meals and great food and all this stuff. But with soft services, like what we offer, like myself, I remember when I got my very, very first coaching client and I made money for the first time. I'll never forget. And it stays in my head. I remember, and this shows you how green I was. I had people coming to my house, which we know is a no-no, but this is in 2015 when I just didn't
Right.
know. And these are people I knew. Kara was her name. She was my first person. And she was like, I'll pay you money. And I was like, great, my fee is $300. I was way
Hmm.
low priced, all that, right? And I
Hmm.
gave her like a 3-hour consult. This tells you I did not know what I was doing on price. So 3 hours to $300. And I had this big whiteboard. And when I was finished, she like gave me money. I think she gave me a check or cash. And I remember like saying, oh my gosh, okay. And I was like, you feel good? And she was like, yes. And I was like, good. You got everything you, okay. Because in my mind, I could not rationalize that I had just gotten money for something I would have probably just done anyway. I've talked for a few hours with people here and there. And so now I was doing it as a business. And I just remember feeling, I didn't know how to feel about this exchange, but I learned very quickly. Don't worry. I know what to do with money. Right, and how much to charge. But back then I was like,
Right.
okay, Kara, do I owe you anything else? I just was so shocked that someone was willing to pay me, because I do this naturally. And that's when I learned, Chef Juszina and Kareema, that just because it comes easily to you doesn't mean you should devalue it for others, right? You shouldn't, and because we struggle with that because it's easy for us, it's natural, it's our God-given talent and gift. We have a tendency sometimes to maybe give it away, right? Or
Hmm.
devalue it or not really quantify the worth. So talk to me about pricing. I think I want to start with you, Chef Juszina, because you have a tangible product. How did you figure out your pricing model? Did you have to go through iterations to get that right? Or just talk to me about that. Do you have it right
Well,
today? Yeah.
Well, you know what? And I'm still struggling with a few things because, and I shouldn't be, because I have built a big enough platform for myself and I am constantly evolving every single day and elevating. But I get people versus corporations. Let's start there.
Mm-hmm.
Corporations will pay me what I'm worth.
Yeah.
People, some people in general,
Yeah.
and I don't want to get technical
Yeah.
about it
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
talk about ethnic backgrounds. We're gonna bypass that, but
Mm-hmm.
um, some people will nickel and dime me all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while, I was not charging for my proposals and my consultations.
Mm-hmm.
And I start looking at how much time it was taking me out of the day to give these people a consultation, because when people call me, they really don't know what they want. They have this budget. Well, not even a budget. They want all this beautiful, extraordinary,
Mm-hmm.
elegant
Mm-hmm.
an event they want me to put on. But then when it comes down to how much they want to pay, then they want a nickel and dime.
Mm.
So today, um, I had to learn, and I'm still learning, that sometime you lower your price to get that person in if they are of value to you. And then once you will them in, then you can elevate
I love
on
that.
that, or they can introduce you to more people. So say for an example, if I'm serving President Barack Obama and his name, and he is not willing to pay or for his services as high as I think he would pay,
Yeah.
but I would lower my price just to get President Obama. And I know that once I get President Obama, Oprah is going to be following, and all these other people. So sometime in business, you have to, what I've done is to lower some prices to wheel some people in, so that that can help me get to indoors that I normally wouldn't have gotten into had I not lowered my price for this particular person. And I don't do that often, but I do it when I find myself not making a certain amount, or trying to make my mark for that month, my quota for that month. I would do things like that.
I love that. I have something that's going to be so blazing hot. I'm getting ready to drop on both of you in a second. So I'm gonna hold mine to the end because I have some input there. But thank you for sharing that. You're absolutely right. And I used to call that a strategy. I had a strategy for that. Like, if you're going to go low, there's different ways to get value. Value is not always monetary, right? Like, hey, if I do this at this price, then I'm hoping that you will put me on a priority use list. You know, you will make an introduction. So I define, I'm giving you a price break. In exchange, I'm asking for these non-monetary value, you know, compensating factors, and spelling that out so that, because the other thing I found, Chef Juszina, and then I'm coming for you, Kareema, because I want to hear your pricing too. The other thing I found, though, is that even though we think that way, and so we make these passes for people, when you come to collect on the recommendation or on the thing you want, sometimes people act like, did we talk about that? Well, no, we didn't talk about it, but it should be right. And so what I found is I had to be super intentional, super clear. Even if you think it should be assumed, telling people your intentions is the best thing. Like, my intent, let me be extremely clear. I'm happy to do this for you. My team and I are excited about this because we hope that what comes out of it is X. And may I request that in exchange for this, you would be willing to make an introduction in the next 30 days to X, and making sure they're really clear. Otherwise, when you come to collect, I've had people catch amnesia. Like, that's happened for me.
Right,
People
right,
were like,
right,
I don't owe you. Did I say? Well, no, you don't owe it to me, but
right,
right.
right.
Yeah,
We
so
can't assume.
that
Right,
part.
we can't assume.
And I've learned that the hard way myself. So, okay,
And so
Kareema.
have I. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So, Kareema, let's talk about pricing. Is that still an area? Well, first of all, how did you get to a place where you're comfortable with what you charge now? Did you have to go through several iterations? And how are you feeling about pricing now?
Yeah, we had to go through more than several iterations,
Yeah.
especially in the beginning, because you know, you get in your head, especially me, I was in my head in the beginning, and I'm like, okay, in the grocery store, and I'm not gonna say the names,
Yeah.
but there's popular tea brands that have been in the store for years, right?
Yeah.
We're talking like 40, 50 years they've been on the shelves. You might get a box of their tea, you know, for $2.99, $3.99, $4.99, right? But the quality, right? And also they have tons of machines that are just pumping out tea, versus I'm small business. Everything is done by hand.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a machine now. It's not as big as theirs, but in the beginning, everything was done manually. Sourcing the herbs, packaging, everything was done by hand before I received my tea packaging machine. So I had to put all of that into consideration. Is it worth me keeping my prices super low and I'm not making any profit, just to satisfy a customer that's like, oh, I have people tell me, oh, that's too expensive. You know, I could get a box of tea from the grocery store. Well,
Well, go get it.
You're
Look,
not
I'm
my
sorry.
target customer then, right? You're not my
Right.
target customer.
Right.
But in the beginning, I was letting that affect my pricing decision. And then I had to just really calculate, you know, even though I was doing everything myself, me and my family, of course, can't leave them out.
Yeah, no,
But
no. Mom, yeah,
I gotta
especially
rephrase
mom.
that.
Especially mom and
So
hubby. Yeah.
even though we were all doing it, I still had to calculate that labor, right?
Yeah.
The timing, because it was taking so long. And then now, I make sure everything that I do is calculated into the cost. I mean, I'm talking like even the shipping fee from my vendor,
Yeah,
right? Because
absolutely.
my shipping fees have went up. Like a vendor I might get a package from, it used to be $20. Now it's $40 for the
Yeah.
package to be delivered. So I have to bake all that into my cost.
Yeah. No pun intended. Bake. Well, you
No pun intended.
yeah, yeah. Well,
And
listen.
then, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Kareema. I didn't mean to cut
I
you
was
off.
gonna say, and then even on the service side of the business, which that wasn't my goal to start doing events. It's just something that got put in my lap, right? He was like,
Yeah.
hey, you could do tea parties, you could do tea blending workshops. In the beginning, I was like, I just wanted to do it, but not now. In the beginning, I had family members that were helping me for free. So yeah, I
Now
could give you a 40% off discount,
yeah.
because we
Yeah.
want to host. But then I had to take into consideration they have jobs, they have
Yeah.
lives. I can't be, they
Yeah.
can't sacrifice their time for me and I'm not paying them. So now everything has to be baked into, oh, okay, I have to pay my family and friends for being a staff of the day with me, right?
Yes.
So all of that is baked into the cost now.
Let me say one thing about family, just real fast. My father is going to appreciate that I'm getting ready to say this. So I learned the hard way. I just literally, y'all, I have good intentions, but I get excited. I was a young entrepreneur. And I remember in 2013, in the theater world, I used to do major stage play productions. A lot of people don't know about that. I'm both really, really business and very, very creative. Like that's my love. I love creative arts. And I put on this major stage play in Charlotte and I took it on tour multiple times, right? And I asked my dad, who's from Brooklyn. So my dad is a hustler. Like he's good and saved, but he knows he likes money, right? And I said, Daddy, I said, I'm gonna need you to play the bass in this because he's a bass player too. He's been a bass player before I was born, so he's really good. I asked him to play the bass for my stage play, and it never even occurred to me to pay him. Now I was younger, right? I was a little younger, and I just didn't know. It wasn't I was trying to slight him. So my dad showed up faithfully. He drove from Eastern Carolina to come support this big stage play. I'm his oldest daughter. And I remember after the play, I made all this money. We had a sellout show, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And we went to Chili's. This shows you how young I am. Okay, we celebrated at Chili's, y'all. I'm at Chili's, right? And me and Daddy, I was like, "Daddy, we did it! Oh my God, this came together!" And I'm so excited. He said, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "You got a pen?" I said, "A pen." Okay, and I gave him a pen, and he took the back of a napkin while I was so excited. I was like, "Oh my God, Dad! Oh, we got to do it again and next time." And so he writes down $300 on the back of a napkin, and he says, "That's my fee." And I said, "Excuse me?" And I'm very prissy. So I'm
Yeah.
in the family. I'm very like, "Excuse me?" And he said, "Yeah, yeah, you gonna hook me up?" And I said, "Father, what is," and he said, "You had a sold out show." And he was nice about it, but it was kind of like, when was we going to bring up this conversation? So,
Right.
and he didn't have to write it on the back of a nap. That was extra. Okay, that was a little extra, I guess. But my point is, from that point, I was like, oh my God, what was I thinking? I need to incorporate. I know he loves me and family wishes you well, but it's also their time. And, it's the right thing. So I'm just saying, Kareema, I learned that lesson.
Yeah.
Through that, thanks to Ivan Irvin, my dad. So well, listen, I know we could be talking all day. I'm gonna just tell y'all one thing on pricing, and then we're gonna close out with why people should join this awesome community of practice that we have. I want to tell y'all a secret that I learned, and this is gonna be, y'all are gonna like, your heads are gonna spin when I tell you this. In my business, when business is slow and I'm not selling my products, and my products are corporate partnerships or memberships, you know what I do? I raise my price. I raise the price. And I'm going to talk about why real fast, because you're going to be like, what? So what it signals to me in the marketplace is when we're having to run, like, because we have these ebbs and flows, right? Peaks and valleys. And we have these running. Memberships are going and going. And then for some reason in the market, it hits a stall that's unexplainable, but we're still doing action because activity should equal outcome. Actions should equal results, right?
Mhm.
If we hit a stall, for me, it is a signifier that the perceived value isn't there if the price is too low or hasn't changed in 2 years. So believe it or not, and trust me on everything I own, that when you hit a stall, and I've done this twice, I say, it's time to increase my price. It's time to increase the price. And when you increase, even though the business case is you're increasing the price, what you're really communicating to the market is I'm increasing the value. The value for this just increased. And then you put out a press release that we're increasing value. And we see it all the time. Think about this. The iPhone 17 is out. That thing is almost $1,000. They're not going to emphasize $1,000, my friends. They're going to say our value on the iPhone just increased. It can do this, this, this. It's a premium thing, right? They're going to focus on that. And so believe it or not, they're going to sell like hotcakes because there's the perception of increased value. So so believe it or not, it has the opposite impact because you would think, well, if you're not selling, most of us, y'all know what I'm talking about. You're not selling, I'm going to lower my price. Wrong thing. Resist the urge to do what you think. Don't do that. Increase your price because sometimes you're not attracting the right people at the price point you're at.
Right.
Wow.
Like that.
Wow.
That part.
I like that.
That part. I
Mhm.
told you you're going to be like, what? No one teaches us that technique. They're not, everybody tells you, well, slash prices, discount, take polls, increase your price, increase your value.
Okay.
Because it's much easier if you're not selling that much. It's much better than if you're going to sell 3 of the widgets for the month at a higher price. That's less you have to sell, same effort, right? So I'm telling you, it works.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a nugget. That's my contribution today. And by the way, our pipelines are increasing October 1. Yep. So just so you know. Okay. Community of practice. Kareema, in a few words, why should they join the hospitality, food and beverage COP, and who should join? What type of businesses can join?
So we're looking for businesses that have food, of course. So your beverage, coffee, tea, juices, anything in that category, but also hospitality services as well. So, which I feel like goes hand in hand. You have like a catering business. I do tea parties, so that kind of falls in line. If you do any kind of catering, any kind of hospitality services as well, fall into our category. If you feel like you're stuck on resources, if you want to learn about certifications, different kind of funding, contracting, this is definitely the COP to join.
I love that. And celebrity chef Juszina, I love putting the celebrity chef Juszina on there. Can someone who's in event management join? Like they do event management, they do project management of events. Maybe they are a wedding planner. Are they also invited to your community of practice?
Absolutely. We would love to have them because anytime you're an event planner, and actually I need to reach out to some event planners because event planners help, they could help with Kareema and her tea and me with my catering studio and all of these people that we're normally not able to get in front of. Partnering with an event planner would be like the best thing ever, because they would be able to get us in front of people that we don't normally service, like I try to service different corporations. And not only do I have the catering studio, but I also do food and wine workshops. I teach baking and cooking classes for seniors. I also do dessert classes for the youth. So it will be a really good thing to even partner with an event planner and also a person that has like a mobile wine bar or something like that. I just recently did an event where Danola was there, and one of the young ladies, she has a wine, and she was featured at this location called the Amp. and she has she's a Black-owned business owner, and she has all these different she has a wine line, and so her and I are going to partner together where we can do some things. And so I think that would be awesome if we could have, you know, event planners, people that own wines, people that own restaurants, or people that are just stuck doing what we do every single day.
Oh, I love that, you all. And listen, on along those lines, people who have Airbnbs or who have a bed and breakfasts, people who have food trucks, right? So if you're listening to this, you have a food truck, you have a small B&B, right? You're an event planner, a wedding planner. The community of practice, which is hospitality, food, and beverage, wants you. We are bringing corporate partners. We had Aramark not that long ago come and talk to you all. We're working on some new deals to bring new people in, like Denny's. So guys, come on in real fast before we call it a wrap. Chef Juszina Marie, where can people find you who want to follow you? Where should they follow you at?
People can follow me on Facebook under Juszina Maria Fava, which is Fava, a spinoff my #1 cookbook on Amazon. They can also follow me at www.JuszinaMarias.com, and also 260-868-7268. And we are, again, out of Indianapolis, Indiana. And we do travel.
Come on, come through. And Kareema, where can your fans find you and follow you?
So they can find us on all platforms, and it's so simple. It's Yes Darling T. So if you're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, it's all just Yes Darling T, and you'll find us.
Yes, darling. And on that wrap, and on that, I want to thank you, lovely ladies, for your time. Y'all have been amazing. Such a great group of speakers today. Great conversation. And for more on this, go to www.ProcuraFind.com to stay in the network, in the know, and to connect with this COP. See you next time on Talks on Demand.
ProcuraFind is your online community for small business growth, connecting you to contracts, partners, and resources. Join today at ProcuraFind.com. Thanks for watching.